Welcome to the Coast to Coast podcast, brought to you by Play Picks and the Lines. Coming to you from the West Coast, Josh Lander, joined by my guy Nate Weitzer on the East Coast. And we have our player props video ready for you guys for tonight's Monday night slate here in the NBA playoffs as we roll along. 3 good games to choose from. Plenty of props available for us as we continue to get plenty of great offers from DraftKings, FanDuel, all the other like of wherever you're finding those props. Make sure you do like and subscribe to that page so you can continue to follow along as we're bringing you each and every single playoff video during this NBA postseason, and we'll roll along with these player props as well. And also want you to head to thelines.com and use that props tool. Make sure you're getting the best odds available as you're shopping those NBA player props across the league here tonight. And as always, if you do still need a FanDuel or DraftKings account, head to ftpicks.com or dkpicks.com. Find those listings in your area, such as what we've got for tonight's play props. Nate, let's get into it.
Yeah, I'm trying to go against the grain a little bit, I guess, and back James Harden in a closeout game because Joel Embiid's hurt, and the Sixers are going to need him to step up in a big way. With Embiid's, tearing a ligament in his thumb last time out, or really in Game 3 he did, but throughout Game 4, Harden had the highest usage rate he's posted this series, nearly 28%, and he scored 22 with 9 assists over 42 minutes. Went 2 for 8 from 3. He's still not hitting very consistently, but Toronto has been vulnerable from deep, and Harden went 5 for 11 from 3 in Games 1 and 2 of this series, where he looked pretty spry. His usage rate has been higher at home since joining Philly. And, this whole narrative about him being terrible in closeout games, he's starting to hear the noise, and he's at least come to play the last 3 times. He went for 22, 9 and 9 on a bum leg in 53 minutes in the end of that Bucks series last year. He went for 34, 10 and 10 to close out Boston before that. I mean, that's a front runner line if I've ever seen one, and then he went for 36 and 5, 36 rebounds and 5 against the almighty Lakers in the bubble 2 years ago in Houston's last game. So it's not like he doesn't put up numbers. I mean, with an insane usage rate, James Harden to score 21.5 points, that's what we're talking about here. It's only minus 104 at FanDuel. And then you're getting plus odds for him to hit 3 threes, plus 144. I think he's going to hoist at least 8, 9, 10 threes in this situation, maybe more. I mean, it's on him and Tyrese Maxey if Embiid's not a full go here. Also looking at Maxey, 18.5 points, but as good as he's been early in the series, I think this is on the more senior member of that backcourt, and it's on Harden. As much as he says he didn't feel any pressure coming into these playoffs, I mean, nobody wants to be punked like this. And like I said in the other videos, like the theme of the playoffs so far has been guys bouncing back from being punked. Still waiting on Kevin Durant to do that, but that's neither here nor there. This is
very much here.
It's Harden's time to just put this legacy, to put this narrative away and perform well enough to get his team out of the first round.
Or at least quiet it down for now. Someone's always going to bring it up at some point when you bring up James Harden in terms of someone who's a hater. But I like that. I also do like Tobias just because it's so low, 16 points. I mentioned in the game video about this one that Tybal coming in and back into the lineup after not being allowed to play in Toronto actually helps basically Tobias and Maxey, in my opinion, as they saw their shot attempts decrease with Danny Green on the floor, where he won't be as often as he was in games 3 and 4 with no Tybal there, as they play pretty much a same role there. But I still also like Harden at 21.5 points. I think, to your point, the closeout games that he's had in the last couple seasons, he's still performing. So I'm going to go with the guy Tatum. I'm going to take Tatum here. The 31.5 points or so on DraftKings does scare me a bit, but 43.5 points, rebounds, and assists scares me less. I'm expecting a big game from him, honestly. And I mean, if you look at his last 3 closeout games, 29 points, 13 boards, 6 assists in 44 minutes. That basically, those boards and boards and points gets you to the prop alone here as of late for him. His last 4 versus Brooklyn at home, we're talking 30 points, 6 boards, 6 assists, just shy of that, but that's in 36 minutes per game because that includes 2 home games during the regular season. Now he's going to be looking at closer to 44 minutes in this game, 42 minutes or so. So you can up those 30 per 36 minutes numbers a bit to get you over the 43 and a half based on what he's averaging against the Nets, what he's averaging at home as well, and in those closeout games. And then 30% usage rate in the playoffs. Don't expect that to get too much lower than that. He'll always, moving forward, I think he's, we talked about the baton being passed, and he's going to be in as much as is needed. KD is going to be in more than is needed, probably, and more than he would even like to have to play in this one if they actually are going to try and win it, which means Tatum can't sit that much either, as he's the guy guarding Durant more than anybody in this series, I believe like 40% of the time. So plenty to like for Tatum. The minutes are there, the usage are there. Even if he gets 25, 26 points, I do think he has the capability of getting 10 boards and like 7 assists, or what you need to get you to the points, rebounds, and assists.
Yeah, the minutes are sky high, 43 minutes per game in this series, and he's played 41 minutes or more in 7 of his last 8 playoff games. I'm just really impressed by his fitness level to be able to do what he's done on both ends of the floor,
right,
and play those kinds of minutes. So filling up the entire stat sheet is a good call there. I mean, I might look at some of his defensive numbers after he had 6 steals in the last game. First Celtic ever to go for 35, 5, 5, and 5 in a playoff game. Very impressive there. I mean, but if you can find it at 43.5 PRA, I would take that. I just think that there's a variety of ways you can fill it up. I mean, he has 10 dimes in a game this series. He could have 10 rebounds if Brooklyn continues to struggle shooting, and he could easily have 30 points. I mean, Kevin Durant, I cannot believe, did not bounce back in game 3. Kyrie also looking like he's ready to just call it quits. Bruce Brown isn't, though. He's trying to back up his little smack talk before the series. And I think it's mostly an X's and O's thing that the Celtics are letting him do what he wants. If Bruce Brown beats us, we'll shake his hand. And I don't think they're going to make any adjustments just because he's done really well in the last 2 games. He has 49 points on 18 for 31 field goal shooting. And his props are still relatively low despite him playing 40 minutes per game in those 2 with a 31% usage rate last time out. We're looking at 14.5 points at -108, or 24.5 points, rebounds, assists. He did have 8 rebounds in both of those last 2 games where the Nets struggled otherwise, and 7 total assists. He's really getting into the seams there. When they double up at the top on KD or Kyrie, It's Bruce Brown making a decision quickly. Do I attack? Do I lob? Nick Claxton playing a lot more. Those are easy assists if you can get Claxton alone on the weak side, or he could facilitate kicking out to Seth Curry. I mean, he plays a lot in this matchup. I mean, not only is he a Boston kid who wants to get these minutes, but he's one of Brooklyn's best options, matching the athleticism of the Celtics. We talk about how screwed they are if they're going to play 2 small guards and one of them is going to guard Jaylen Brown. They have no chance. I mean, Bruce Brown is the best option they have to guard either Tatum or Brown at times. And if they want to keep Durant fresh on the other end, then he's got to play more. My point is, he played 24 minutes in the last 2 games against Boston last year and put it up pretty good all-around numbers with 22 and 18 PRA. If you just add those minutes, 36, 38, I think he's definitely getting over there regardless of what the result is here.
Yeah, he's on the floor at this point, in terms of starter minutes as well as starting. But you did see, like you said last year, you saw him not necessarily get all those minutes after starting a bunch of games. They take him out, and it kind of seemed like that was when a lot of things went wrong for them. And he's earned 35 to 40 minutes in this last game. They're going to need him. He can't guard Jaylen or Jayson just because they can shoot over the top of him. He can guard them, but he can guard them way better than Seth Curry or Patty Mills or Kyrie Irving. scoring, and that's what they're left with at this point in the playoffs. If they're gonna need a guy who can score because of the fact that KD is getting doubled so much. I mean, he take like 14 shots on even in Game 4, KD, because he's just getting the ball forced out of his hands as soon as he touches it within 35 feet of the basket. So Bruce Brown is a great option to continue to put up those points, rebounds, and assists in this one with the minutes that he'll be getting. Another guy that's going to be getting a ton of minutes to finish off our props here for tonight, Nate. Dorian Finney-Smith on the Mavs. We wanted somebody in that game, and despite the fact that we don't think there's going to be a ton of points, I think you can look at either his points, rebounds, and assists at 18.5, which is pretty good, minus 106 on FanDuel for your money there, and then 2.5 3-pointers made for him. If he does make 3, you get plus 126 on your money. Reason it's at 2.5, which is a perfect prop for him. That's basically what he hits. If you average it out, is like 2.4, 2.5 at home this season. But a really good percentage, right? 40.5%. And you think, well, he was getting how many minutes during the regular season? No more than 30, 32 max. Now we're talking about 36 to 40 again for him. As he's a staple now at this point. He and Reggie Bullock playing the most minutes in this series for Dallas, as they need that wing defense from that they both bring, as they've both been doing a great job all over the floor, as we know Dorian will be doing. And he does continue to get a good amount of 3-point attempts when Luka's in there. As we know, he's going to be continuing to play off of him, especially when Luka's on the wing. You see Dorian Finney-Smith come, set a bunch of screens, then pop out to the top of the key to get those threes. But he's going to be so crucial in what they do rebounding as well, that I think, you consider the points, rebounds, and assists. The assist is just because it gets you really good odds, right, at minus 106 there, to just add that, where his assist prop is already super low at like 1.5 anyway. It's just about the consideration of the stats there. You feel good about the points and rebounds for sure. Adding the assists is just to get that the odds a little bit better for yourself. The 3-pointer, that's a 50-50 bet to me. He's either going to hit 2 or he's going to hit 3. I don't know which one, to be honest, but the plus 26 odds for him to hit just a half of one more essentially is definitely worth it. It could be because of the juice you're getting.
Yeah, we're just following the minutes here today. We're looking at guys that have a chance to play 40 minutes or more because of what they do for the team on both ends. Started with 2 stars, and now we're going with 2 role players who are just the best option for these coaches to roll out no matter what unfolds. And that's what the playoffs are all about. There's going to be adjustments throughout the game. You're going to need versatile guys like Bruce Brown, like Dorian Finney-Smith, who can guard basically 1 through 5, at least in a pinch. They can do that, and then they can hit shots for you on the other end. I love DFS. I mean, he's averaging 12, 6, and 2 in this series. So that's 20 PRA. I think you can count on him to get that. Like you said, the 3 is a bit of a wild card, but he has had at least 2 in 8 straight playoff games, and he'll be taking them from the corner.
That's what I'm saying. He's either hitting 2 or he's hitting 3. And if you're going to get plus 126 on your buddy for him to hit 3, then go ahead and take it, because it's a 50-50 shot and you're getting better odds. That's called EV. So that is all the time we have for you in this player props video. Make sure you are like and subscribe. We're going to be bringing you every single game video, as well as continue to roll these player props out with you as we maintain that really hot record in the playoffs as well. So until we see you next, happy betting.